Minding Your Business community, thank you so much. You're right back here for episode number 198 of the Minding Your Business podcast. Entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's no business like minding your own. Recording this on a Wednesday here, September the 16th. Can you believe we are halfway through September? We're in our 6th month of our glorious quarantine social distance life that we've picked up here in 2020. I mean, gosh, just one a year. We're done with summer now. We're into the fall. And we've only got about 14, 15 days before the fourth quarter of 2020.
Man, don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud.
Exactly.
You're making me, my anxiety is rising here.
Make people feel bad. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Can any of you, could you imagine if we came in January 1st and said, listen, this year is going to be just a challenged year, and we're going to have to deal with a worldwide pandemic virus, and we're going to have to deal with, the kind of the rising front and center nature of social injustice and those kind of things. I don't think any of us could have predicted any of that coming in January 1st. So just what a year it's been. But hope this finds you well. I hope that you're enjoying life as much as you can, and that you keep in mind that we all want to be a little better for ourselves, for our families, and for our community. And I think if we keep that in mind, we'll be just fine with whatever life throws at us. And don't throw away 2020. This is a great learning year. It's been very tough, I think, for many of us. However, every opportunity that we are on this side of life presents just that additional opportunity for us to get things right and be just, again, a little bit better. I'm excited about today's guest. Adam Hendle, who is the founder of Ballsy, joins us today,
how's it going,
man. Yeah, so man, I appreciate
love the intro, man. I mean, it really has been a crazy year, and I think you're spot on by saying that, don't throw this year out, right? Like there's a lot of opportunity, and you always got to look at the bright side of things. So I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we try to talk positivity here, man. There's enough, negativity. If people want a lot of negativity, they can watch, one of the news channels or something like
We're
that.
surrounded,
call
man.
them out.
Yeah, we're really it's hard to find positivity. So I appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely. And we try to, Adam, not just positivity, just blindly. We know and we're aware that there's tough things that are very relevant that we should talk about. But we want to try to encourage people along the way, too, because we're all still here and we all still have a tremendous opportunity. And we may have to pivot some. We may have to learn some tough lessons along the way. But now's the good time to learn those so that we have an opportunity to be better as we round out this year and go into 2021 and then beyond that. So, absolutely. But Adam Hendle is our guest today, man. And we want to get right into it because we want to learn a few things from you, man, and get a few nuggets on, how you've been able to be successful that can help all of us and continue that train of inspiration, even as we get done listening to this episode. And so, Adam, share with us a little bit about your story, man, how you got started, kind of where you hail from and, what's kind of driven you to where you are today.
Yeah, happy to share, some of the backstory. So once again, my name's Adam. I'm the founder of Ballsy. So Ballsy is a men's personal care brand focused on below the belt. So that's the area you're thinking about. You're right. So
very honestly, important.
Yes. That's definitely our key differentiator. So really the story kind of starts about 4 years ago, literally in the shower. It's one of those shower moment ideas about a shower product. But it was just looking around, and my wife has products for every area of her body. And as guys, especially 4 or 5 years ago, it was like 4-in-1s, 5-in-1s, like how many things can you pack into like a value wash, right? And it just felt like there had to be something better, right? Like, why don't guys have different products for different areas of the body? And this was also just right around the time I was starting to look for more high quality men's personal care brands, but I just couldn't find anything out there that I related to. Like a lot of the higher end stuff, felt higher end and just like a little bit too like GQ or just like didn't really resonate with me personally. So it was this like intersection in the shower, and I was like, man, like we have a face wash, body wash. I wonder if anyone's ever created a ball wash. And it was just like that crazy intersection of all of those things. Jumped out of the shower, Google search later. To my surprise and delight, no one had ever created something called ball wash. And I was like, wow, all right, either this is the dumbest idea or this is like, a huge opportunity.
Right.
So the next step really was I went to went to Whole Foods and was like, all right, I got to figure out how to make body wash, right? Like, how do I make this different? Like, what do I look into? Quickly realized I'm a better marketer than chemist, and said, all right, if I'm really going to take this seriously, I got to find a manufacturer. And at the time, you know, I didn't have a lot of money to put into this. So I had $5,000 actually that a buddy was like willing to like bet on, put $5,000 in, called a bunch of manufacturers. And, you know, most people laugh me off the phone. One, because, you know, Ballwash is just funny, but two, because I only, you know, wanted to run about 500 units. And if you ever do anything in manufacturing, unless you're going to like white label, which is like putting your name on somebody else's product, it's just not really possible to do that small of a run, or it's very hard. So I spent the next 6 months just calling around and met this company based out of Michigan, who specialized in high quality personal care and was family run. Long story short, I got them on the phone. It was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to make this product called Ballwash. And they're like, we're sold. We're in. I'm like, I might only do 500 units. And they're like, we don't care. Like, we see a lot of concepts and brands, and we really think that this could be something cool.
Sure.
So we spent the next 6 months formulating what Ballwash would be. We made the 500 units, and then Black Friday of 2017, we launched the 500 units, ran some Facebook ads, and sold out of all 500 units in the first 24 hours. And was like, wow. All right, cool. I'm not
most
the
of
only
your buyers, were they women buying for men, or were they men themselves?
Great question. So this is really like a pivotal moment, figured out in the first 24 hours of launching the business. So very naively, when I was, you know, thinking about who this customer was, when I was building out the brand, I was just thinking guys, right? Like guys problem, market to guys, like they'll get it. So I had a bunch of Facebook ad sets set up, mostly guys, just different interests, different demographics, whatever. And I had one female audience. And the female audience was just like 10x ROAS out of the gate. Like, you know, it was like I was acquiring customers for like $3. It was nuts. I mean, like, that's why we sold out in 24 hours. Like, whoa, all right, let's put all the money in this female ad. And I mean, obviously, I think I overlooked the fact that it's holiday gift giving, but I also really overlooked the fact that females do a lot of purchasing in the household, even so much as so for guys' products, the guys, you know, the products that are in their shower. So I honestly, I kind of naively overlooked that, but to this date, you know, we're 3 years in business now. Females are about 65% of our customers. And that's not just holidays. That's, you know, evergreen right now. Like we run ads to both male and female. So we're actually skewed more heavily female. And what we found is they love the humor aspect of it. You know, we can get into some more branding and whatnot, but it's really a combination of both, right? It's the fun aspect of the brand and the names, but it's also the fact that it's a high quality product. So we have a lot of essential oils, plant extracts, you know, we're free of sulfates, parabens, synthetic dyes, all of that stuff. So it's like kind of this Trojan horse. Like we get them in with the humor, and then we keep them around, hopefully with like the product quality, because we take that part seriously. And happy to like pause because I think I'm unloading a lot right now, or I can just keep rambling on. You tell me.
No, that's tremendous, man. And you know, there's a good bit to unpack with that, because you know, yes, and I wanted to get to the branding because I think that's a critical piece to your story, which is one, you recognizing that fairly early on, like you said, you're a better marketer than chemist. I think that's a great point for people to understand, is where their strengths are, and then work around their strengths, and then fill in the gaps with other resources. Too many times, often with entrepreneurs and business owners, they try to be everything, you know, around the business and everything to everybody. And you've got to be able to recognize, kind of like Clint Eastwood said in one of the Westerns, you know, man's got to know his limitations.
Yeah.
And so
I'll admit I'm still guilty to that. I take on way too much, but yeah, chemistry is not, it's not one of those things. But yeah, your point very well noted.
Yeah, exactly. But then also with that, Adam, is, you know, there's the fun aspect of it, because obviously that jumps out at you, right? There's the fun kind of comical piece of it. But then, you know, I did the same thing. You know, I'm chuckling, I'm laughing. But then as I dig into the products, it's like, well, man, this is a really good product. I mean, look at, if you think of what's on the shelf, oftentimes with all the dyes and all the, you know, irritants and all the different things, you know, when you're talking about that part of your body, you know, to have something, you know, natural that's been, you know, well vetted out, and, you know, like I say, comes from natural, more organic sources that react to the body much better. I think that goes a long way, and especially with men, because we tend to not be. The ladies do very good at researching that type of stuff, and my wife has products for days for like say her entire body head to toe, whereas most guys we just have just one bar of soap and maybe shaving cream, and then that's really and some alcohol, and then that's it. Wet wipes or whatever, guys. And then that's it. The guys have like 2 or 3 products. And then, but then women have a whole counter, it's like Batman's utility belt,
This is true.
They pull out all kinds of products.
They've got a utility belt and a utility cave of backup products. Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to push it that far, but like, look, I think as guys, like we've got needs too, right? Like why are we any different? And guys should be taking care of themselves just as women do. And that was really, forefront at the brand. And, the ball area has been this overlooked thing, I mean, look, I mean, our armpits stink. We take care of that. Like, I mean, it's not all guys, whether you want to admit it or not, we get a little stinky down below. So why not take a little extra effort and, make sure you smell good down there, just like you do your armpits. So, but yeah, I mean, I think, the thing I really is important for the brand and something that you've kind of touched around is balance, right? Like we balance humor also with product quality, but also in the brand itself, right? I think something called Ballwash and some of our other products, Nut Rub, Sack Spray, I mean, like they're ridiculous names, but if you look at the product packaging, like it looks a little bit more, I guess, sophisticated than what you would think, right? Like it looks, and very purposely so, like a product that knows what they're doing, right? Like it doesn't look like a joke. And we knew with products with these types of names could definitely be taken as kind of a gag or a gimmick. But that's not how we want to be. Like I'm looking to build this into a very, established, serious men's personal care brand, not like a one note joke, if you will.
Right. Yep, exactly. No, and that's what I could tell, when you look at, the website, you look at the branding, Adam, and you just look at the product set, obviously you're in it for the long haul. And I want to get into, some more, with the branding and with the kind of the marketing of it, because, and we were talking a little bit offline that, oftentimes with ladies, there's been so much marketed to women over the last, few years. And there's probably a slew of different, reasons for that or whatnot. Some things are tied to, just the overall economics. Some are just tied to just overall times of, how things kind of move in ebbs and flows. But you don't know, I tend to see, and this is just my own kind of personal opinion, you tend to see a lot less being marketed to men, specifically only, things are either kind of a blend or they're heavily marketed to women. Just from your thought, what do you think that is and kind of how that, aligns with your brand?
Yeah. I mean, I think what I'd say is since we've launched in the last few years, I think you're definitely seeing a lot more emphasis on the men's personal care category. Like guys I think are just starting to come around to the fact where like, it's cool to take care of yourself. Right. I think it's just a little bit of a change in behavior where like guys, like you never even thought about what you had in the shower. Right. Like I said, you had 4-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, body wash and face wash all in one. You're like, how does this even work? Like, how can a conditioner be a body wash? It doesn't make any sense. So guys, I think are just in general, as we, I guess I don't want to say evolve, but like we're just starting to understand like, hey, like we've got needs and like it's manly to take care of yourself. Where I think before it was like manly just did not care, right? And I think you can very plainly see this, if you go to Target, right? The men's aisle used to be, not even a full aisle. And now, a lot of Target stores are like, it's quadrupled in size. Like it's a huge piece now. And there's a lot more, men's brands out there. And I think that just goes to show like there's a lot more demand for this type of product. So over the last few years, this is really starting to pick up. And, it's an exciting time for like men's personal care.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into some of your product set, Adam. So what are some of your top products that sell very well and that sort of thing? And you mentioned earlier about selling out on Facebook and kind of the demographic of who's buying. But what are some of just your top products that for those that go to the site, which is let's make sure I get this exactly right with your site. Let's see.
I can tell you here. So it's ballwash.com or ballsybrand.com.
Yes, I'll say Ballsy brand. I want to make sure.
Yep. Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. So the top product really in like the introduction to the line is called our sack pack. So the sack pack has Ballwash, which is an activated charcoal ball and body wash.
Right.
Nut rub, which is a beeswax based solid
Right.
cologne, right? Like you
Right.
never want to spray cologne because the alcohol on your boys below, it's very, it's just not good. And if you've ever done it, you understand why that's not good.
Right.
But like a beeswax based cologne, it really helps with chafing, irritation, and odor. Really easy to apply and feels good. And then it also comes with sack spray, which is a deodorizing spray. Which also has witch hazel and zinc reconolate, which helps with irritation and chafing. So that's really like the sack pack, if you will. And then
Yeah.
the next hero product out of there is, which I think a lot of guys can relate to, is called Ball Guard. So if you've ever used Gold Bond or baby powder on your balls, if you will,
Right.
for chafing and sweating, this is basically a replacement of that. So it's a lotion that's a lot easier to apply, a lot less mess, and then it
Yeah.
dries as a powder. So just a
Right.
lot easier application. And then, so those are really like the ball focused products. And then last year we really started to say, okay, if a guy trusts us with his balls, can we
Right.
expand into other products? Right. So we've expanded into shampoo, conditioner. We've got a shower sponge, body wipes, and then we've got a bunch of stuff that's about to come out for holiday. So we really want to own, the men's personal care, or like the men's bathroom, from A to Z. Like again,
Yeah.
like I think it will always be known for, our below the belt care products, but we really want to expand to where a guy can get everything from us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had a comment there in our Minding Your Business, the MYB community Facebook group. Ms. Martin, who said that she had to run. She was listening in and she was laughing a little bit, but will the info be provided in the comments for the website and that sort of thing? So, yes, that is ballsybrand.com where you can go and check that out, Ms. Martin.
Yeah, and I'll put a coupon code after this for if you just put in champ, it'll be 20% off. How's that?
Oh, that's awesome.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
no, I appreciate that. That's awesome. So MYB, that's a great opportunity for all of that. Men, it's a great opportunity to go ahead and jump on that now. Ladies, get that for your man. As that's great, right on time as we head towards the fourth quarter of the year, and you start thinking holidays. And if you want to go ahead and jump on your gift giving and get that out the way, go ahead and go to ballsybrand.com. Use the code CHAMP and get 20% off, and then let Adam know you heard him right here on the Minding Your Business podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, you talked about a friend kind of helping you out kind of early on, Adam, and really believing in you. Do you have a team that you work with now? Are you kind of working this solo, or kind of give us a little bit of the lay of the land with your organization?
Yeah, so I'm really surrounded by 3 very close friends. The first one that took a chance on me, I was friends with him in high school and we went to college together. I've always had a lot of crazy ideas. I've launched an e-commerce business before this, and he was always been like my first follower, first person to be like, man, just go for it. So he was my early sounding board. And then once I got it up and running, I also reached out to another friend who I was a coworker with at a startup in San Francisco called Store Envy, and we worked together for about 2 years there. And Store Envy was basically a Shopify, so Store Builder meets Etsy, so like a marketplace.
Yeah,
and I got to see behind the scenes and help over 100,000 different e-commerce businesses along the way there. And we met and connected, and just when I left that company, like our last lunch together was like, we're going to work together one day. I don't know when or where, but like it's going to happen. And then, fast forward 3 years later, he was my first call. So he's on the team. And then actually one of my next door neighbors from back in the day, he does a lot of like 3D video and content production. I brought him on very early on. So that's really the core team. And then outside of that, I have to throw a shout out to my wife. My wife has been, a huge, supporter of the brand and a huge sounding board, especially early on, getting that female's, viewpoint. Make sure, like, because with the brand, we never want to be too crude or macho or bro or, like that's not who we are. We're very inclusive of, all types of people. So I wanted to make sure that, like, from her standpoint, being a woman, like it came across that way. So she was really early sounding board and actually came up with one of our, our slogans for our Valentine's Day box, which is just, been one of our best sellers. So she's been involved as well. And then I got my sister running support who's in college. So,
there you go.
Close team, small,
close-knit family team.
Small, net mighty, but like all friends and, family right now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's tremendous. And that's a good point that you make, Adam, with your branding and having that holistic viewpoint into how you go to market and how messages are received and that sort of thing. Particularly when you have, a men's brand like this that also can have, women as the other gender who are, significant buyers and things like that. You want to make sure that your approach to market is, not exclusive. Right.
Yep.
And so, and sometimes that can happen, you'll see some men's brands where it's so bro, like you said, it's, it's really just kind of like hardcore bro. And, and not to get on them, but it's almost like the We Sell Tools guy where it's just like, men. And, it's all catered to men and, and maybe that, that certainly can work.
There's a market for that, but that's not the brand that I wanted to create. I mean, I think what's really special about our brand is we really have customers that you'd probably never see in the same room together. Like, just background wise, we've got like, we just really got this like wide range of customers. And I think the reason for that is it's the humor and the funness. And it's like everyone can, needs that, especially, this year. Like you need some stuff to like put a smile on your face. And like, you start every day with a shower. That sets the tone. So why not pick up something, read the back of our bottle, and it makes you smile a little bit and it just kind of gets you on the right foot. And I think everyone really needs that. And it's been really fun to, build the brand and products around, being bold and playful. And, the other piece of the brand too, aside from that, is like this whole notion of live balls out. So to push yourself to like do a little more, whether, that's just you being a dad and like doing that balls out, or maybe, we work with a lot of athletes and like, it doesn't have to be that, but like whatever you do in your life, an entrepreneur, like just going for it. And that's part of the ethos as well.
Yeah, definitely. And so Adam Hendle is our guest today, founder of Ballsy. That's ballsybrand.com. Make sure that you go check that out, everyone that's listening, and definitely share that with friends and family. Adam, let's get into a little bit of, we've talked a little bit about, today's times, and obviously we're in the midst of worldwide pandemic, to say the least. Talk about your business kind of pre-COVID, right? Kind of, how things are going, and compare and contrast that with, obviously during COVID, where we're kind of 6 months in for most of the United States. Kind of compare and contrast those times for us.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, luckily we've been in a spot where business has been very good. I think, a lot of people have heard that a lot of e-commerce brands, unless you're, in travel or something that's an obvious not going to work right now, have been doing really well. And we've been fortunate enough to double our revenue year over year, and we're on track again to do that this year. And I mean, I think early on in March though, or February, and I had to place POs. I was scared out of my mind. Like, wow. I had no idea what was going to happen. And like, we were getting low on inventory, and I'm like, do we hold cash? Do we, buy more inventory? How much? And so we just, obviously to believe in the brand, and like, I didn't want to go anywhere, and I figured we were going to figure it out. So obviously like we re-upped our POs as we normally would. And, March, once stimulus checks like hit, man, I was like, I've never seen like better return on ad spend. I was like, damn, man,
I gotta wash my balls.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm like, all right, this is good news, I guess, but I mean, obviously like online shopping, as everyone kind of knows now, is really just it blown up, right? Like, I mean, there's just been an immense amount of growth. I mean, I've heard some just crazy stats for like, this was a growth that was expected in the next 5 years that have been done in like the last 5 months, right? It's just crazy. So, business has been really good. I think what'll be very interesting is, admittedly, up until August, like, we've never had better return on ad spend. Like, things have just been fantastic, but it's starting to cool off now. Like, I think, and there's just this uncertainty, obviously now with, stimulus bill being delayed forever. There's uncertainty, right? And that's definitely something that's stressful as a business owner as you head into holiday. And man, like, I'll tell you what, our business is very like, we're very leveraged on holiday, right? And that's Christmas and Valentine's Day, and there's not much room in between that. So every year we take everything and we go all in on, all chips are on the table. And, I'm hoping that since most people will be, shopping at home, and not going out to stores, things will be good. But there also will be, who knows what the economic climate will be. We have this, the election coming up. So it's definitely a stressful time. But again, man, I think it all comes back to you got to believe in yourself as an entrepreneur and make calculated risks. And I am definitely not the riskiest guy. But, scared money don't make money is that old, adage. So, you got to kind of believe in yourself and push in. And so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, a brand like yours and a product like yours, Adam, would do well come, even the holiday season. Because like you mentioned, I mean, there's the kind of the geopolitical side of, the elections and that sort of thing. And you'll have that noise going into November. And then whatever the result of that is will create another little buzz for a little bit of time. But I think what people are going to do are, there's going to be shopping, like you say. I mean, online shopping has been booming for the last 10 years or so, 10 to 12 years. I think you're going to set another record like you do every year. It's going to be a significant jump. E-commerce businesses like yourself are going to be primed. I think people are going to be looking for people like you. I think they're going to be looking for, obviously you're going to have the Amazons, you're going to have Walmart, and you got Target. Those big players are going to do what they do. But I think, players like you in the game are going to do well because, people are going to be looking for those organic, type products. And even if even if the ticket price is maybe a little bit higher, they may not buy as much stuff like they would in the past. When you think about the holidays, it's going to be more pointed, things that they feel like, people actually need versus, and, in the past, I think people, in really good economies and things like that, in good times, people just flood the market and just go buy everything. And they walk through stores and, I like that. I think Jimmy will like that. And
fill up the cart.
I think now people are going to be more selective and, the internet now, and people getting more accustomed to it now and having more time because they've been at home for so long and gotten accustomed to being online for lengthier periods of time. They're going to find you, right? And they're going to, hopefully make those purchases.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right. I mean, I think some, insight to share, and what's been very valuable for us is we really leverage holiday. I mean, we're still bootstrapped, right? Like we've never taken on any investment. So every dollar we spend, it's a dollar out of, the owners and the brands, out of our pocket, I guess. So like we're very cognizant of how we spend, and, up until last year, like we really go all in on the holidays, like I said, and we're spending a lot more evergreen now. But like what we've tried to do is say, all right, how do we make this a no-brainer for somebody, right? As a Christmas gift. So we've basically taken our sack pack and then we brand it for holiday. So it's a limited edition box and it says, keep your jewels jolly. So again, like something super fun. And it's under $50.
Right.
So it's like one of these, like I think if you can keep something holiday oriented, like even if it's changing just the packaging a little bit, like we've got a Santa like Ballwash that like he's got a funny face going on, and it's like the Jolly Joe's wash. Like it's just making it very easy for customers to like get an introduction to your brand.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like I said, it's just changing the box, like changing the box art for us is like a multi-million-dollar difference to like the revenue for us, because it's just, it makes it a no-brainer. It gets people stopping on Facebook. I mean, I think while this year there'll be more online shopping than ever, there'll also be more competition, right? And you got to be thinking to yourself as a business owner, like, how are you going to stand out when people are, scrolling Instagram and Facebook? Like, what's going to get them to stop and think about you over any other gift they can purchase?
Right.
So just making that like a no-brainer for, your customer. And obviously every brand is a little bit different. We leverage fun and humor, but we make it easy to put a bow on it. Like it looks like a gift.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely tremendous. And you're right about the competition. I didn't think about that, but because of everything, like I was kind of mentioning, you're right. The other component of that is there's going to be more competitors. There'll be even more e-commerce shops and things like that, and that marketplace. How do you stand out? And I love what you talked about, the kind of that price point within the gift. I think that's going to come into play too. This holiday season is the right packaging with the right branding at the right price point.
Yep.
And I think you're being primed to be able to do that at the price point that you mentioned is really going to be beneficial and help you stand out. And I love the branding around the different phrases and using Santa and that sort of thing. Are those things that you come up with, or do you guys sit down as a team and kind of brainstorm and come up with that? And
yeah, I mean, it's a team effort. I mean, some of these things, it came up very early on, and we, obviously always trying to evolve. This, we've done the Jolly Duels box. So this year we brought in a new artist to refresh it. We've actually got a matching pair of boxers with the same print on it. So yeah, I mean, as a small team, we're always working together, putting our heads together and figuring out what we're going to do, to capitalize on, each moment of the year.
Yeah, and I love how you balance the kind of the funny piece of using that, but it's not like offensive, right? So one of the things when I was looking at it was you initially you think, okay, is this more like like how Spencer's was back in the day, where it's just kind of like really kind of completely out there, and that might somewhat alienate a side or a potential side of the market place for you. But one of the things I love is that again, it's fun, that sort of thing, and it's funny, but then also, Adam, it's not exclusive, right? Or it's not excluding anybody.
Not too crude, we're definitely not crude, and obviously there's a few people that are like Ballwash, that's disgusting, but it's a very small minority. I mean,
right.
I mean, it's amazing. Like I was saying this earlier, but I mean, we have moms that buy this for their 13-year-old kids that are going through puberty as this fun way to kind of be like, mom's funny and but you got to take care of yourself, Timmy.
Right.
Things are changing, know? And we've gotten videos from moms that give it as a puberty pack. And it's this funny way that there's this awkwardness, obviously, with talking, around teenagers and this, but it's here's something funny. And it's they also learn about it. Our sack pack on the inside, goes through what each product is, why it's good for you, what it'll help you do. So yeah, I think, the key thing for Ballsy is balance, right? And I think it's, something that's important for a lot of brands, for us, but for us especially, because it's really easy to go too far one direction. And, that's just the constant battle we face, which is really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I love that. I think that's a great way, like you said, in terms of marketing, to have that in the forefront of your minds, is, how, your customers use the product. And in that sense, that it helps, add fun to that educational piece that I think this generation of parents is maybe a little bit more in tune with, than previous. In the past, you kind of was, trial by fire.
Yeah.
And the fire piece, could be something that could be a problem.
Yes. Absolutely.
The fire and the burn piece. And so learning that, and parents taking that stock into, utilizing your product and platform as a fun teaching, method for teenage boys, so that as they grow up and become men, they have a deep understanding of how to care for themselves. And that, like you say, there's a, if you want to call it a cool factor, but there's, at least that knowledge and respect that, I want to do my best to care for myself, and not be reactive. And that's what I kind of see this. I see this as a way for all of us as men, to be more proactive in caring for ourselves as early as possible. Because, again, I'm no doctor or anything like that, but caring for yourselves in that area can, create positivity for you down the line, no matter what age you are today. At some point down the line, by caring for yourself today, it can only mean, positivity tomorrow.
It also, it's something else that I could do is save your life. I mean, to be honest, like we've got a ball wash that gives back to testicular cancer and research. And on the back of it, we've got this whole like how to check yourself for testicular cancer. And, it's obviously a huge problem for men, and I didn't never knew how to like check my balls to make sure like,
Oh, it's true.
like everything's good. So we also look at this as like a learning piece and something that, we can teach. So yeah, it's obviously taking care of yourself, but like it can get very serious. And so yeah, we really lean into all of that and try to make this, while a fun brand, like something that's serious, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you've used that word several times. It's the balance. And so I definitely love that. For you personally, Adam, where do you see, so, you've built this brand. Are you looking to build other subsequent brands? Are you kind of all in on Ballsy, or, where do you kind of see yourself kind of fitting into things as you continue to kind of grow and continue that balance with what you're promoting?
Good question. I mean, for now, I'm balls out and ballsy, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean,
balls to the wall.
Yeah, balls to the wall. I mean, we have a very small team, as I was saying before. I mean, and we really handle, pretty much everything in house. So this brand definitely keeps me busy, and it's something that I'm just still, 3.5 years in, really excited about. And I think there's a lot for us to do, right? Like we've got a lot more products coming out this fall. I think something that we get a lot of questions about is a female-based brand, since we have so many female customers, and I think there's room for that down the road. But right now, it's really just about owning the backyard, doing what we do really well, making sure that we are completely buttoned up, and that's kind of the way we've approached the brand since the start. Like we had only 3 products for the first 18 months of business, right? Like we really wanted to be good at those products, be known for something specific. And I think it was, could have been very enticing to just throw a bunch of products out there as we saw customers coming in, but like we wanted a very succinct story, right? Like this is what Ballsy is. This is what makes it different. But now as we're, growing up and maturing and people know us a little bit, it's like, all right, like let's introduce some other products. And, we still, I think we've got like, 10 SKUs or less, but so that's to say, like, I think there's a lot to be done here that we're really excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adam, how do you balance things? We continue to use that word balance as kind of the theme of our conversation. How are you balancing things personally? What do you do when you're not running Ballsy, right? What do you like to do? How do you engage with family? Those sort of things. To kind of balance out your business life.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm married. I have a 7-year-old daughter. So, they keep me busy and on my toes, especially my 7-year-old. She's amazing. So yeah, it's really spending time with them. I was used to be in a band, so was super into music. My used to play guitar. So my quarantine project was to learn Ableton, which is like a software to write electronic music in. So been learning how to do that. So I think, for me, it's a balance of obviously hanging out with friends, family, but also trying to learn something new and just to keep, creatively sharp. And that doesn't always have to do something directly with the business. Like I said, like my focus has been on doing something musically and something to kind of take my mind off business. So it's really finding, I guess, keeping those 3 plates spinning at all times. But yeah, I think it's taken me a while to get back in a groove, to be honest. I think, the whole quarantine and, COVID thing really just threw me off. Like I had a very regimented like schedule of like go to the gym on these days, like some meditation, like, just it was like this was the routine, and it really got out of whack. I can unfortunately admit I haven't got back on the, working out period. I just haven't been able to like motivate myself at home, unfortunately. So, but I think it's just, it's important that while you get down on yourself for certain things, or at least I do, like you concentrate on the positive things of, the other pieces that you've elevated.
Sure.
But a balance again. I don't mean to keep like run this back to balance.
That's a great thing.
Is what it is.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that as a great theme for talking, and it relates well for yourself and for your brand. And is your daughter doing virtual school, or is she going in? I know I've got 3 daughters, and so my daughters are doing virtual at least this semester, and then my wife and I are gonna Adam kind of reevaluate for the second semester. So is your daughter doing virtual school and kind of there with you, or kind of going in?
No, she's doing virtual learning as well. We're in Los Angeles right now. We're actually about to move here in 2 weeks, but so far, as far as I know, LA, USD is all virtual, which has been, it's obviously a challenge as well to like make sure that she's getting the education that she needs. And like, she's on her Zoom call right now. Like, luckily my wife's here too, but
Yeah,
she always needs help. Like, like obviously like she's 7 and like pop-ups come up and she doesn't know what to do. And like, so it's a lot. But yeah, she's doing great, man. It's just unbelievable, what this year has really brought us. And it's, how do we adapt and, keep positive, as you were kind of alluding to in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And my youngest daughter's 7, so I've got 10, 9, and 7.
Man, I've got nothing to say. You got 3 kids, man. You're a hero.
So I've got them scattered around the house, and so they're on Zooms all the time. So I'm podcaster, I'm bank consultant, I'm real estate investor. I'm also part-time teacher's aide and part-time tech support. So
that, man, hats off to you, man. Like I said, man,
you're
outnumbered. 3 kids, man. You're outnumbered. I'm enough with 1 here, and she's easy. So
yeah, no
that's
doubt
great.
about
I love it.
I love that, man. Adam, if I were to bring you, just as a fun question, if I were to bring you $100 million cash, no strings attached, I've got a spare $100 million laying around. I say, I want to take this over to Adam. Yep. And so I bring you over $100 million in cash. What would you do with it and why?
Oh, we're going to Vegas, Ron.
What, $100 million? Oh man,
$100 million, man. All in. No, I think first and foremost, is obviously I take care of my family, my friends, make sure that anyone that needed help got it right. Especially family. I mean, family. My wife and I both have 2 sets of families, and like I'd love to just take care of them and know that everything that they've helped us out with, like we'd be able to repay them back. And then outside of that is, I just look for some ways to also give back, whether that's, to, I think kids and just are going through a lot right now. I mean, to hear my daughter talk about coronavirus and like it's just heartbreaking, and and like she's obviously well taken care of, but like there's a lot of kids that aren't right now. So I think some of that money would just go towards making sure that kids with whatever type of help they need with getting laptops for school or internet access, and like, man, it's just crazy time. So yeah, I'd say family and helping others would just be the 1-2, and then I guess maybe a trip to Vegas when that opens up.
Of course, nothing wrong with that.
Have some fun too, right?
Yeah, well, I think people are in Vegas. I think Vegas is somewhat opened up. I don't, I imagine obviously you got the bookies there for sports betting and all that, but I think some of Vegas is opened up. So
I know, actually, my wife and I got married there 10 years ago, and we were supposed to have our 10-year reunion there in May, and then obviously called that off. But I still don't see anytime soon where I'm going back. Not yet, man.
Yeah, exactly. But we went, my wife and I went for our 1-year anniversary, actually. So we got married, of course, here in Memphis. And so we got married in 2007. So we went to Vegas in 2008 and just had a tremendous time. Everything, fun. Of course, was going on at that point as things were, starting to collapse and that sort of thing. But you couldn't tell in Vegas.
Always going off, man. Always a party.
It was definitely going on.
Disneyland.
Absolutely. And so, Adam, as we kind of wrap up here, man, it's been a tremendous conversation, been able to learn a lot about you and about your company and about your brand. For you personally, just sharing with this audience, what are just 1 or 2 things that work well with you? I mean, you and I have talked about balance. We've talked about, just the fact that these are challenged times, and many have been challenged. Some have had the challenge of things that are doing very well. They've had business that's gone extremely well, and they have now the challenge of, how do I keep this going? Or how do I, like you mentioned, cash versus inventory and that sort of thing. And then others have had, more deeper rooted challenges and that sort of thing. But just kind of overall, what are 1 or 2 best practices you like to share with this audience that when they get done listening with this and they go on with their lives, that they can incorporate and be just a little better?
Yeah, I mean, I think the number one thing to always do, and I imagine, your audience is already doing this because they're here, is just investing in yourself, right? I mean, over the years, I've learned so many different skills out of necessity, graphic design, copywriting, how to do YouTube, how to be an entrepreneur, I guess. And like, how to run Facebook ads. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff, right? Like, I just took the time to get on Udemy, get on YouTube, and learn. Right. And I think right now is is a great time while people are, have more time at home to really be leaning into this and looking at this as an opportunity to, grow themselves versus looking at like the negative aspect of like what's going on, because the time you invest in yourself is, I think, the best investment you can make, and it's only going to pay off down the road. So yeah, I mean, take this time and make sure you're utilizing it, not letting it go to waste.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a question, and that's tremendous. I'm glad you shared that. We had a quick question that came in from obviously, Mrs. Nidra Reddit. That's one of the great, real estate leaders here in the Memphis and kind of Mid-South area. Her and her husband, Futrell, lead the real estate school, the pro real estate school here in Memphis, and she's been, her and her husband have been agents and brokers and that sort of thing for many years, and just tremendous. And so she gave a quick question, Adam. What do you see the future regarding interest rates and the cost of money kind of after November? So kind of a little bit deeper financial question for you.
Big question, man. Big question.
I mean, from a business owner standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm not nervous because I am. I think the future is very unknown here, obviously with the election and just how, COVID continues to play out. I'm not entirely sure. I think that, there'll always be like for us, like we're always looking for opportunities to leverage cash, right? And I think there's a lot of interesting vehicles that have come out. Like one is Clearbank, which basically is a e-commerce operator. They plug into your Shopify and they can kind of see the type of sales that you're doing, and then they can offer you loans based on that. And very competitive. I mean, right now, you can get 3 to 6%, I believe, depending on how you use the financing. And, PayPal starting to do that, Shopify Capital. There's another one called Brex. So I think money will be out there. I mean, at what cost? I mean, I don't know. I mean, no one wants to see this whole thing tank, right? And as you can see, the money printer keeps on printing for better or for worse. Right. And I think it'll be really interesting to see like what this next bill looks like. But man, I wish I had the answer on that, but I just got to try and be positive and optimistic and figure that there's always going to be opportunity, for people that have, a strong business or at least ideas for strong business and can act on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right now, and I can speak to it from, as a former banker and someone who works in community banking currently, that obviously the cost of funds are as low as they've ever been, just in terms of from an interest rate standpoint. So that the Fed funds rate is still low. So for those of you personally and professionally that are borrowing money, if you look at mortgage rates, if you look at kind of rates all the way around, they're fairly low. Actually very low. Of cases, so
historically low.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like I said, we just bought a new house and we're able to lock in 2.9. I was like, wow. I mean, and that's not even 30 year. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
so hopefully money remains cheap while we can keep this thing kind of chugging along. But
yeah, and so typically the kind of the way the Fed funds rate works is obviously you're trying to starve off inflation and things like that, and they have to encourage investment. But at some point it's going to have to go up, and going up is not necessarily a bad thing because it could signify a great improvement in the economy. When rates start to go up, that's generally a signal that your demand has been very high. You're trying to either starve off some of the demand, and so that's going to happen eventually. Now rates have been very low for a long time now, really since the last recession. So at some point they'll have to go up, but now's a great time. And I think you spoke to this earlier, Adam, which is have a strategy for borrowing money. And if I could say anything to our audience, it's I'm a big proponent as someone who did loans for 17 years. I can tell you that the folks that did the best with that had a plan, right? So like Adam, like you described, if you borrow money to purchase inventory that you're eventually going to sell, that is leveraging debt the right way. If you're just borrowing money just to say, you're going to have it, or if you're borrowing it just solely to pay expenses and it's not generating revenue for you, that's where you tend to get in trouble. And so MYB community, if you think, well, I used to have people at them all the time, Ron, I want to get a $25,000 line of credit. but well, what are you looking to
What's
do?
the plan? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking to buy, furniture. I'm looking, and those things can be good, but what are you doing then to drive revenue? Really what they're saying is, I want to be able to pay off some bills and go to Vegas. Right. Right. And that's not a good play, with borrowing money. You want to borrow money with a purpose, to purchase an asset typically, or to market, right, and to brand, so that it's tied to revenue. And like you said, Adam, your
Yep.
business is predicated on driving revenue. So when you make a dollar, you take a percentage of that dollar to reinvest in the business, and that's really
Absolutely.
a smart, intelligent way to do it. Versus the other side, which is just buy up a bunch of stuff because it looks pretty, go get a fancy office, and you can post that on Facebook. It looks good. Everybody comments. It says woohoo. And then you get the first payment note in. And now it's okay. I've done everything except drive business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot of e-commerce brands out there, unfortunately, that like they're just focused on top line revenue, but like when it all shakes out, like, they're burning capital. And I think there's something to that, right? Like that's not always a bad thing, right? Like to fuel growth, especially early on. But like for us, we've always looked at bottom line. Again, I think it goes back to a little different mentality if you're bootstrapping versus you're taking on, VC investment or whatnot. But for us, like we always try to run the business very efficiently, and we for a multi, we're going to do close to $15 million this year, knock on wood. Like there's 5 of us, right? Like we try and run things very efficiently and profitably. And we only leverage, debt or inventory financing when we absolutely have to.
Sure.
It's not like, hey, let's just take this money on and see what happens.
Yeah.
Although it's enticing sometimes to, obviously I think sometimes I wonder if we sell ourselves short by not taking so many risks and chances. But at the end of the day, like I know that I could put my head down on the pillow and sleep soundly, like operating the way that we are.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, in someone that, talks to business owners, Adam, that peace of mind is so critical right now, particularly with, there's so much uncertainty, and we all know that. I mean, it's hard to plan for tomorrow, much less next week or next month. And so, like you say, being able to lay your head on your pillow and fall asleep and then actually rest. A lot of people fall asleep, never rest. Right. Those are two different things. And so we can all do that, and then we can keep our balls clean as we do that. And so
there we go. Got to do that.
Yeah, for us men. Yeah, definitely. So listen, Adam Hendle was our guest today here on the Minding Your Business podcast, episode number 198. Adam, I can't thank you enough, man. I kept you longer than I actually thought, but we had such a great conversation. I didn't want to cut it off, but thank you so much for what you do. Of course, I can speak for behalf of all men, helping us keep ourselves clean, kind of
the funk off the junk. There you go.
I love it, man. Man, I'd love to be in you guys' marketing meetings, by the way, when you guys kind of throwing these things up on the wall. That's probably hilarious.
Never a dull moment, that's for sure.
No doubt. But Adam, man, listen, thank you so much, man. Best to you personally and professionally. And want everybody to go to ballsybrand.com. Go there today. When you get done listening to this, go put in the code CHAMP. Place your order, and then let Adam know. Again, you heard him right here on the Minding Your Business podcast. And Adam, again, thank you again, man. Be safe. Best wishes. Keep going, and thank you for your investment in helping us here in the marketplace. Again, be just a little bit better with our personal care as men. So definitely appreciate that to you and your team there.
Well, I appreciate your time, Ron. And hopefully this provided a little value. If anyone wants to reach me, it's adam@ballsybrand.com. And, always happy to connect.
Yep. Excellent. Good stuff. So Adam Hendle, folks, that's just tremendous dialogue today. And so as we close out the episode, don't forget, also go to champronbrooks.com. I appreciate all your support and working with me on my various ventures, whether that's in real estate, whether that's banking, consulting, this podcast consulting. Shout out to some of the banks that I've been able to work with, again, helping launch their podcast, also hosting the CRA Files podcast. So make sure you go out there and subscribe to that as well. Got a really good episode interview with Craig Lounsbury, who is the president and CEO of Community Bankers of Illinois. You definitely want to go check that out. whether you have interest in banking or not. It was a really tremendous dialogue, and you'll learn a good bit of history about banking associations. So whether you're personal, in personal things or in business, you all have a tie to banking, and learning about the banking associations, I think you'll find intriguing, to say the least. But check me out, champronbrooks.com. Subscribe to the podcast, 5-star, wherever you listen, and certainly on Apple. Helps us continue to grow the MYB community. And so if I can be a resource for you, email me, ron@champronbrooks.com. Just that simple, ron@champronbrooks.com. And like Adam, I'd love to connect, good, bad, and ugly. I'd love to hear from you. And listen, everybody go, again, be great for yourself, be great for your family, be great for your community. This is Champ Ron. This was episode number 198 of the Minding Your Business podcast. Go be great.